Calling all beings. Calling all beings.
Is there anybody in this joint that can give me an amen for calling all beings in the homies? Anybody? Yes. Let me see what's going on in here tonight. In the chat, we got Julie. We got Sherry. Oh, wait a minute. Let me start at the top. We got Chris with a K, so don't play no games and tell me it should be spelled with a C. We got Mark Cunningham. I don't know if he left and came back because brother's like, why we ain't started the show yet? And then we have Julie, John Courtney. Let me bring on my co-host. Oh man, look who is here. Michelle Littlefield is here, but let me bring on my co-host. Y'all know her. Y'all know her for standing out, from supporting all these damn causes on the street, doing her business, being a confidant, being a mentor, being an associate program director, telling me this is what you need to be doing, DJ dummy. This is, of course, Massachusetts' own Helen of Troy. Put them together for BF the D-O double G.
Hi. Happy Tuesday.
Good evening, BF. Thank you for being here.
No
Thank you
problem.
for your help, as always. Looking cool, being cool, right?
Yep, always.
Only way you know how to do it. All right. This gentleman always, she's lacking in self-confidence. All the "you're beautiful" Bia comments that you guys have been giving, it hasn't resonated yet, but I think after another couple of years, it probably will. We're several hundred short, but even I saw some in the chat today in the comments. So anyway, so this gentleman, let's see, we've admired him for a while. Since the very beginning when I saw he and Mike on, and that was kind of like the inspiration for me to cover this case. So the first two individuals, who do you think the first two individuals are that I emailed going, hey man, I'm DJ, I want to You know who that was, Bia?
Yeah.
It's Mark MazzaMedia and my man, Mike from the Young Jerks. They're 2/3 of what they call the 3 M's or triple M, whatever you want to call them. So he has a great channel. This gentleman is extremely passionate when it comes to movies. I'm going to find out if music is it, but I know that he analogizes a lot of life, the movement, and so forth with movies. He finds metaphors that he can tie into things that he's heard in movies. We're also going to talk some sports. We're going to talk some Celtics. Maybe we're going to get his take on the latest Lakers and Mavericks trade. So he's nodding his head in the background. So without any further ado, we're going to get to you guys, and we're going to say hello to everybody in the chat because we know that y'all are the most important thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this if nobody was paying attention. So party people, put your together for my man, MazzaMedia.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Can anybody give me an amen for MazzaMedia? I'm sorry to embarrass you like that.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm dealing with it. I can handle
it. All right. So let's see. We got to say hello to everybody in the chat. Sherry Dizzle is here. Julie, our original gangster of mods. And look at that. Sarah in shock and horror. You know what I'm talking about? Right here, my man from Dean College. Class of, is it 2000 or 2001? Mark Cunningham. Kimberly McGuire. Welcome back, love. And here we go right here. Ken Hathaway from Nottingham, England. So do you have a Massachusetts accent at all that you can do, Mark? Or you got, yours is like way toned down.
I I don't. No, I don't have a Massachusetts accent at all. Not that I'm aware of. I've been told by some people I do, but I just don't believe it. Yeah.
I don't hear it. As an
No,
outsider, someone who loves accents, I don't. Was that purposeful or was that by accident?
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
I talk like I talk, and that's how I
Right.
do it. I talk
Right.
like Bob Alisi. You know what I mean?
Right.
From New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Judy.
Barbarino. Yeah.
Vinny Ba- Dude.
You have a
like,
good radio voice.
Yeah.
Like you could
Oh
be on the
my-
radio.
I told him that the first time I met him. Not Burn Radio should be on TV, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, like a commentator.
Would you be play-by-play or color?
That's tough. That's tough. Probably color commentator.
For which sport?
Basketball.
Oh, so we are
Yeah.
going to get in some NBA talk tonight.
Oh, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I got
Okay.
my Celtics. I got my Celtics. And I got my Celtics championship shirt on too here tonight. I'm
Okay,
rocking
yes.
Celtics gear.
Okay, I am a Knicks fan that's clapping, but he's my
Oh.
guest, and I have a lot of respect for the Boston Celtics
Yep.
because at the end of the day, I'm a basketball fan first, NBA fan first, you know?
Yeah. Well, you got a lot to be
Um,
happy about the New York Knicks right now. They have one of the best teams they've had in years.
Yes, and
Jalen
last year
Brunson.
that run in the
Yep.
that run in the playoffs was amazing, man. We
Yep.
lost Hartenstein. I wasn't too happy about that, but
Yep.
you can't hold on to everybody in today's NBA, and we're going to get to that trade here in
Yeah.
a second. But I want to give a shout out to Judy Basteri. She didn't make it down to the Meal of Food, but she's a big supporter of a lot of shows. So thank you for being in here, Judy. Who else have we not said hi to today? Oh, well, we got to get some Beatrice business in here. Can I tag Beatrice? And yay for Beatrice. Hey, Beatrice. And here we got...
That's it.
what?
Staple. That's one of my staples.
What's up, homie? What is up, Stace? Is this Spacey Stacy? I'm not sure.
Ghostbuster Sherry D easily.
Oh, okay. She's at. See, you guys are way
Yeah.
ahead of me.
Okay. Yeah.
Favorite 80s movie. Okay. Let me see. We got Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl with an S. Welcome. And here's Patty Murphy. I'll always do the Irish accent if we have a distinctly Irish name in the chat. And Los Angeles. Oh, whoa, what? And one of my favorite players ever, LeBron James.
Yeah.
We have to give a shout out to this young lady. She has bronchitis. She is like, I spoke with her. Her voice is really struggling. She's with meds right now, laying in bed. So shout out to our home girl, Christina. Do you want to do the last name, Bia?
Rasmussen.
Thank you. That's exactly it. All right.
But Pepper's feeling a little bit slighted. She wants to know if she's chopped liver.
Oh, what's up from the Bronx, New York? From the Bronx, New York. Please pass the pepper. And man, did you get to meet her? Did you meet her at the Meal of Food, Mazza?
I did. Yep. We got to meet her for the first time ever. We actually was sitting at the same table for a couple minutes there with her and got to meet her. Very nice woman, and it was a pleasure to meet her. I was like, I recognize that name.
And her accent is amazing. And speaking to her, she's really an amazing person. We're really blessed in our community, aren't we? Like when you sort of look around your chat and you engage, what do you think? Like when you see how people react to you and the kind of commentary.
I think everybody's great. I always appreciate the instant feedback on a lot of the things that are being discussed. One of the things I like the most is the way side conversations take place where people are kind of talking amongst themselves, amongst subject matter that may come up during the show. And I see people kind of interacting and touching base on stuff. And it's good because sometimes when you do a show, you might only have about 30 to 45 minutes worth of stuff that you want to discuss. But then when the audience is there, they kind of throughout the show, they'll inspire subjects within subjects sometimes, or they might even discuss an idea within a topic that you're talking about that you might have not have thought of. So it's great because a lot of times they'll either inspire a deeper level of conversation, or even sometimes you might get an instant fact check every now and then, which you need because there's a lot of content that can be discussed, but there's a lot of material that can be discussed. And a lot of times there's a lot of timestamps, timelines, all, data names like Celebrite and Apple Health Data. I remember like a year and a half ago, I had to like teach myself the absolute difference between both because I was confusing them. So along the way, you learn a lot, but it's nice to have an audience that can kind of there's always at least one person in the chat every time. When you can't remember a name or you can't remember a specific detail, it just knows it. That's like, okay, perfect. Because it's just, it's easy to come on a show and talk about stuff, but then occasionally you might forget something or you might lapse on something. Like Trooper Paul the other night, I just forgot his name for some reason. Someone in the audience is like, Trooper Paul, like, perfect, thank you.
And tell me that none of us knew the word hash values until we became aware of Olivia Lambo.
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell's a hash value? Is that like
Right.
at McDonald's with the breakfast meal?
Even Brennan forgot, along with his misspelling his name, he also forgot what a hash value was versus a hashtag. It's very confusing for some.
I thought maybe it was like a hash brown that was a great value brand at Walmart for a moment there. But yeah, I was like, what's going on here? What are they talking about? It's just, especially when you're an attorney, the last thing you ever want to do is misstate something, especially with the public watching, because the public's always going to run wild with it and make a joke at your expense. So that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, and Breenan. Yeah. The thing is, like, for people like us, the thing that's making this difficult for the persecution is that there are so many different people who have expertise in so many different areas that are taking them to account, from Mr. McIntyre, the taillight guy, from Olivia just following, checking out everything they say. Is that, did they contradict themselves? Going into learning about cell phone forensics and the fact that a hash value is that digital fingerprint that every single transaction, every single interaction with your phone has a hash value. And now we know that. So we know if the hash values are missing, well, that means somebody must have messed with and someone's thinking hash brown. No, but you can find those at the standout. We found that out. But now we know that if the hash values are missing, then that means that it's not an authentic forensic extraction of the phone. So there's just so many great people here. People have done stuff on the video. This whole motion is just, it's beyond absurd. I can't even, the motion with that they want to deny Karen the $12,000+ for her folks going out there and not being able to get an original copy.
Imagine that. Unbelievable. That's insanity is what it is. And they're going to try to contest the defense any way they can. But they kind of, the defense did not get what they sought out. And if that's the case, then, well, she deserves to be reimbursed for spending a lot of money. They're running her pockets deep as it is. And if she can get as little as $12,000 back that she didn't need to spend, I think that's the right thing to do in this court. And I'd like to see that happen. She deserves her money back. She actually deserves all her money back from every dime she's ever spent, honestly.
She deserves an honest judge.
Yeah,
that would be really helpful. That would be kind of helpful.
First and foremost, she's the judge is the biggest problem. She has been the biggest problem for a long time, and it's a major issue here. And the way she oversees her court and wants to do whatever she wants to do and have it her way, and that's the problem I have, and a lot of us have, and that's why a lot of us, we don't necessarily villainize this judge. The judge villainizes herself, and that's exactly what happens. Is she puts herself in a position where there's no public trust. It's like officiating in the NFL right now. A lot of people don't trust the NFL commissioner. They haven't trusted Roger Goodell for a long time. They don't trust the officials. When you see what happened to the Buffalo Bills recently, the commissioner had to answer to whether or not NFL games were rigged or staged or scripted. And that's the situation here, is that, you have a judge that is ordaining and basically playing God inside of a courtroom instead of a judge that's supposed to ensure that everything is according to law and by the law and is fair and impartial. But you have a judge that seemingly didn't want to hear about what the jury had to say at all. Hey, Dennis, what's going on? Dennis Sweeney in the house. That didn't want to, hear from anything that the jury had to say. Let's poll the jury. Let's see what what their numbers were, what they really said. Instead, they ushered them out the door as fast as they could, got them right out of there, huddled them on the bus, fired up that bus, and took off. And that's a major issue, especially when you have a case this big. And when you have a case like this that's so controversial and is riddled with so much controversy and things that just do not make sense and things that are beyond coincidence. And then you go to trial, which is her pathway and greatest pathway to just soar above all the things that led her to being there, from the Canton police and the state police and a very large family of community there in Canton. And then you turn around and see it when she goes to courtroom. That's her refuge from all this. That's her salvation from all of this. And then when she is in that courtroom, what happens? They don't give her a fair trial. It's extremely controversial. It's extremely partial towards the prosecution. And again, if any case in the court of law was going to end controversially, why not this one? Because it's par for the course, because that's the way it's been since day one. And it only further reinforces the fact that the judge is corrupt and Norfolk County is corrupt.
Yeah, and the thing is she's unabashed in the way that she does her business. This is MazzaMedia for those of you who want to go and sub. Mazza has just gone over 10,000. Nurse Kim helped us get over 7,000 the other night,
nice.
Along with Jen Altman. And you know who else is in here tonight? Did you see Michelle Littlefield? She was on the show the other night. Do you remember her? Are you like, who is that? The Stoughton court clerk who got those emails about Turtle Boy, the conspiracy between between Meatball, Stoughton court clerk.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was Michelle was the one that was fired in that. And she contacted us, and I was like, man, would you come on this surprise guest? And she came on, and man, she was delightful, man.
I got to see that episode. I got to go back on that. Sorry about that for missing it. So many shows.
No, there is. There's no way you could catch every show. She has something like 20 or 30 years as a private investigator prior to working for the court. And when she saw this, she was aware of Turtle Boy, and she's like, they're trying to screw this guy over. And I'm not going to tell her whole story. She's actually trying to get she's got email contact with Melanie now. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to work this out, but essentially she wants to enter into litigation.
Okay.
So yeah, God willing. So,
nice.
Yeah. Cause she loved, her career over there, and she loved serving the people, and she did what she thought was the right thing. And it was the right thing, actually. So anyway, let's get to the trade. So real quick, we're going to do some sports. I want you guys to just cool your Karen Reed Jets for a second while we talk to Mazza about this amazing trade of the 31-year-old, I believe, Anthony Davis for the 25-year-old, amazing, almost like multi-skilled Larry Bird-like Luka Doncic to the Lakers. What did you think of that, Mazza?
I was shocked when I read this trade. I was sitting there like, I thought it was fake. I didn't expect, number one, I could picture the Lakers trading Anthony Davis, but I could not picture the Mavericks trading Luka Doncic, furthermore, coming off a Western Conference championship victory as well as an NBA Finals appearance last year. So that was shocking. And just positionally, it wasn't like Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns, which you're familiar with, of course, DJ. But
yes,
this was a guard for a power forward center. And additionally, the Lakers had a pretty nice front court with him, Anthony Davis. And then now all of a sudden he's gone. I thought that the Mavericks had a better overall build initially coming out of this trade because they had Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson already. Plus you're adding a big in that lineup. So I thought that was a pretty good benefit for them trade-wise. I think for the Lakers, it's interesting. You have LeBron and you have Luka. Luka can play point guard or shooting guard. Mm-hmm. LeBron can play 4 positions at least, but then they're a little bit lacking in the front court. But I do think that this is a future move for the Lakers to try to basically it's a pivot to move on from LeBron and the time that's going to be maybe in the next year here. I think LeBron and his son are probably going to be out the door in Los Angeles because I think they're kind of tired of what's going on out there, and they realize that having LeBron in charge got them nothing but a bubble title during COVID.
Yeah, and I never liked that trade when they traded BI, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball. I don't know. It was several picks. It was like 4 or 5 picks. And there was more players than just those three. I can't remember. I never liked that trade because you could have just waited for Anthony Davis to come in free agency next year and have all the Josh Hart would still be on the Lakers right now.
That's crazy.
Lonzo Ball could potentially be on the Lakers, but they went and traded away half the team in the draft for Anthony Davis. Yeah, Brandon Ingram, BI.
Yeah.
I mean, like a 6'11" guy with those kind of skills. It's absurd.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good evening, Maniacal Miss. Welcome. Sorry. Good evening, Laura Simmons. Congrats to MazzaMedia on 10,000. He's got 10,000 followers, mate. He's got 10,000 now. Christ almighty. That was my Scottish there. Sorry.
That's all right.
Failed attempt. I missed a free throw right there. But anyway, but I like the trade. And you know what you've just done, Mazza? You basically have made it where the trade makes sense for both teams because they weren't going to win with AD. They needed another, player who could have all. Sarah is always on me about my accents. Sorry. But it really, you needed another guy. They needed another guy. I mean, he has 3-point range, but he's devastating in the lane, his passing, his ball handling. He can draw fouls. I like to trade for the Lakers as well. But you also pointed out how it works for the Mavs.
Yeah. Lakers need a little bit more bigs now that Anthony Davis is gone. I think they'll have a much better team. It's kind of the issue with them right now. They need some big men, but I don't think this really significantly improves any team at all. I think they're going to both float around the same, win-loss ratio that they've been at all season long. Give or take a few games, but it's not going to make a significant jump. I expect the Nuggets or Thunder to be in the NBA Finals for the Western Conference, and I think the Celtics are going to go over everybody, including the Cavs, who are in first place.
I mean, what's Andre Drummond doing these days?
I know, certainly. Yeah. He was dominant for a while there with points and rebounds. He was unbelievable.
Yes. I mean, he's not a good defender, but on the offense, he was really good. So, he wants Nana. So, all right, when we come up with something, Ken, I will do Nana for sure. But then again, Julie doesn't want me to frighten all of our guests with my hideous accents. So, all right, let's get into some movies and stuff. And because Sherry mentioned it, and because she did mention it, not only we're going to increase her percentage on the 401k share because it was brilliant. The Breakfast Club. Hey, Judy, thank you, homegirl. Thank you so much. Namaste, Judy Basteri. Judy. So let's talk Breakfast Club because I have to assume this is one of your favorites. These John Hughes films.
I do like John Hughes, but Breakfast Club was something I actually enjoyed a lot more when I was younger. More when I was like middle school, high school age. I kind of grew out of the movie with time just because I found it more relatable back when I was a teenager. Back when detentions existed for me and as a real life punishment, perhaps, and all that. But over time, I haven't watched that movie in a long time, to be honest with you. But I enjoyed it when I used to watch it. I thought the principal stole the movie.
That guy? You mean the guy who was who's monitoring them, trying to keep them from quiet and that?
Yes. Yeah.
I just saw it recently, and it's like you're an hour into the film until Ali Sheedy says a word, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. When she's not knocking all the dandruff out of her hair on paper and all that. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot all about.
Judd Nelson walking up on the he's in the whatever, like Die Hard. He's like walking around and he's talking to himself and he goes crashing down into the ground. That was funny. It's a classic. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's a great movie. It's just something I haven't watched in a long time. It's just I think it just doesn't have that appeal to me anymore just because of it's just something for me personally I grew out of, but it's an all-time classic. I mean, it's one of the definitive high school dramas comedies ever made.
And I didn't watch it when it was when it came out. I was in high school in the 80s, so I didn't watch it until I sat with you at the Halloween party. I didn't get to meet you there, Judy. I was there. Did you meet me?
I believe I might have introduced you to her. She was in that cop outfit.
Yeah, but I wasn't sitting at the tables.
No, but I think I brought her around to meet some people.
Well, you let me know if you met me, Judy, because I don't remember, but I met Mazza because he was the tallest thing in the room.
Right.
He could have changed the light bulbs, I think, on the ceiling.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So what are your favorites of the? Is it so 90s is that your sweet spot, or are you into the 2080s?
80s.
Let's go,
Yep.
man.
So I'm a child of both
Let's go.
decades. I was born in early enough in the 80s where most of the stuff I watched in the late 80s and early 90s were predominantly 80s movies. But then I was a child of the, really the core of my childhood ended in 89 and pivoted right into 1990 nicely, where I was still very young at the end of the 80s and still very young at the beginning of the 90s. I wasn't even into high school till the later years of the 90s. But I debated this earlier, and I got to say 80s movies are better. I think you can make an argument that dramas in the 90s, though, were better than dramas in the 80s. And I think that action movies in the 80s were much better than the 90s. And I thought pop culture movies in general, your Back to the Futures, Ghostbusters, Nightmare on Elm Streets, were better in the 80s than the 90s. But my favorite movie of all time is actually Ghostbusters.
Wow, and I haven't seen that in forever, but I love that.
Yeah.
That one I definitely saw. I mean, that was huge, man.
Yeah, that is my favorite movie of all time. And right after that's Back to the Future. And the reason why is when you look at both movies, they blend so much of everything: comedy, action, drama, sci-fi, action in many cases in both of those movies. And Ghostbusters even had horror, involved in it as well. So to me, they're just the ultimate movies. I've actually seen the movie Real Men before. And I got to tell you, Julie, that alleyway fight against the clowns was the greatest scene I ever saw in my life when I was about 7 years old. So I got to tell you, I was laughing at that scene. That was a funny movie. But Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, my top two. Predator and Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is a 90s movie, but Predator, Terminator 2 is probably my 4 favorite movies ever made.
So now, what I'm doing for people in the chat are putting out movies, and I'm going to star them. And so I want to go around. So I don't know if you want to speak about their movies first, or if you want to speak about your top 4 first. What would you prefer?
Let's go right to the chat. Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's start. Let me see what I've got starred here. All right, so let's start with this one right here, The Outsiders. Oh my God. Okay. And I'll tell my story about this movie, but go ahead with yours, Mazza, please.
Yeah, this is a classic. This is a movie that's, storyline aside, it's an amazing movie to watch because there's so many young actors and actresses in this movie that went on to become massive stars. Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, you had Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, even Diane Lane. Was in that movie as well, and the
Ralph
movie was
Macchio
stacked with stars, and it was it's a classic. The brawl is one of the greatest scenes. Matt Dillon was in that movie, and Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid. So it's an all-star cast. It's just for the star. I remember we watched it in middle school. It was something they assigned us in school, and I remember watching that and just being like, man, this is crazy. Like Tom Cruise, the Karate Kid, Patrick Swayze, they're all in one movie together. Are you kidding me? And what's funny is the kid that was the star of the movie, C. Thomas Howell, had a very successful 80s from Red Dawn, E.T., and a few other movies. Actually probably had the smallest acting career in terms of star power of all of them that were that featured group of greasers.
Yes. Yeah. And he was the one, he narrated the movie. He was he was Pony Boy,
Right.
My story about that real quick. I was in a very small English class, and the teacher really liked and respected me. I was 16 or so. I had a Volkswagen Beetle, and she said, look, and of course, then I was David. David is my birth name. And she goes, DJ is just the Air Force name. But she goes, I want to take the class. I need a couple cars. And if I trust you, will you drive half the class? So literally it looked like a clown car, my Volkswagen Beetle with people sitting on top of people. And her car, she had like a van or some sort of a bigger vehicle. She took the rest of the class, and we went and watched The Outsiders as an afternoon matinee. I mean, and how can you beat that? And then of course we all had to write about it, but incredible book. I've read all the S.E. Hinton books. And the movie, I think that movie was the one, that was the only one from a movie standpoint that was really good, right? The other ones, they're really just books, right?
Yeah. One of the things that was most intriguing to me about that movie was the audition process. I don't know if you've ever heard about the audition process, but they didn't know who they were going to cast at what character. So what they did is they sat them all like think of like a lunchroom in high school. They just sat a bunch of actors down and had them read all of the roles pretty much, and just let these kids just rotate through the auditions and just let them keep going and going and going, then pick from there. And I think Matt Dillon was the only one that from the get-go was going to get the role that he actually got, and everybody else had to kind of maneuver through a couple different roles and try to figure out where they'd play. So it's very, very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that he has kind of a New York accent, he's just he was prolific in that role, very believable. Yeah. Other than, if you could just overlook that he didn't have an Oklahoma accent, which most of them did not. Right. Amazing. Yep. That house is a museum. You can go to see that house.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the stuff is in there. That house in Oklahoma. Yeah, I've seen S.E. Hinton. There's some stuff online if you guys want to go and check that out. Thank you for that. PTS Dealer, I really appreciate that. That was really good to bring that one up. I don't know this one, Jules, so let's see if Mazza knows it.
Yeah, Real Men's the one with John Ritter and James Belushi. I have actually saw this movie randomly. I think I was a kid during the summertime. It was on one afternoon in the 80s. I just remember them getting in a brawl with a bunch of guys dressed up as clowns in an alley. Probably not the best movie. It's really extremely random, but I ended up tracking this down when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, trying to figure out what that movie was. And finally, all I knew was James Belushi and John Ritter were in it. I wanted to watch this clown fight again, but that's a pretty funny scene. That's all I got to tell you. For me, that was just very funny, but it's an interesting movie, but John Ritter is pretty good in it too, I got to say. Underrated.
Oh my God, I love John Ritter. Three's Company was just one of the best TV shows. I'm going to get mine in here before I go to the next one. Bia has heard me talk about this one on a number of occasions, so this is not going to be a surprise to her. But I believe it was 1987 or 88, and the movie was called Colors with Robert Duvall and Sean Penn. Thank you. Yep. Maria Conchita Alonso as well as the leading female. What did you think of that movie, Mazza? Give me your thoughts on that.
That is a completely underrated movie, and it's really before a lot of movies like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, and all that really was kind of showing talking about gang life in Los Angeles, and I tell you, he hasn't fed me all these movies before we went on the air. I just know these movies. I've watched these movies, but it's a great movie, and it's awesome. Just the whole element of the movie and everything that goes on, and you just never know what's going to happen. And you kind of think it's going to be between the Crips and the Bloods, and it really comes down to this other gang later in the movie that ends up really defining what ends up happening to Robert Duvall's character. But yeah, that's a classic. It's an underrated movie. It's really, unfortunately, a very forgotten movie, but at the time it's definitely rewatchable. Yeah.
Nobody knew who Ice-T was until he did the soundtrack for that. Right. And I'm going to do a character.
Don Cheadle was the Crip leader.
Oh my God.
And Damon Wayans was in that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
He was the one that carried out that shooting of the blood that was wearing a Patriots hat at the beginning of that movie. Yeah. Yep.
He was incredible. Like when you literally thought there actually is a real blood that is in that movie, and his name is T-Bone or T-Rex or something. I've seen him in real life, and I've seen him in the movie, and he's actually real. There was some real gang members in that movie, but Don Cheadle was extremely believable. But I'm going to do my character, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You guys ready for this? Okay. The frog from 21st Street. Charlie Holmes.
Yeah.
2-1 Holmes. How's that?
Yo, Hodges. Yeah.
Yo, Hodges, man.
Yeah.
What you doing, Hodges?
All he did was like kiss up the whole movie, and just basically butter up the cops the whole movie. And he turned out to be one of the most vicious people in that entire film. By the time you get to the end, it was crazy. Oh my God.
He was using Hodges' kindness and took it for weakness, right?
Right.
But Frog was, and I think Frog, I've looked him up before. He passed away several years ago, believe it or not. He was also in Hill Street Blues playing a Puerto Rican gang member in sort of like what we would have thought was Chicago and Hill Street Blues. But that guy, his last name's Da Silva, who played the frog, he was lights out, man. He was lights out in that role. I mean, as believable as can be.
I'll tell you though, there's
yes,
an underrated Sean Penn movie from the 80s that does not get the credentials it deserves, which is 1983's Bad Boys.
Bad
Not
Boys.
the one with Will Smith, but Bad Boys in the 80s. That was a wild movie. That was insane. That's one of the great prison movies ever made. It was only about a juvenile detention facility, but that movie was insane. Ali Sheedy was in that too.
Oh, I didn't know she was in there. Oh, was she the girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Girlfriend in that movie, yeah.
Wow. And A. Martinez, I believe, played opposite. He was the Latino tough guy in there because the feud started out on the street and then it carried over into juvie. And wow, man.
They were conducting the robbery. The kid that Sean Penn was conducting the robbery with was Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick's best friend, and Ferris Bueller's day off.
Was it that guy? The guy who goes, "Stop! Don't include me in on your little games, man."
We'll be out of there like that, man. Yeah. The kid that was his cellmate, though.
Yeah.
He was like he was creating like bombs out of boom boxes and all that stuff. I forget the kid's name now, but that kid was amazing in that role. Oh man, they were
Yeah, so if you guys haven't go back and watch Bad Boys. I have to go back. I haven't seen it in years, but that is an awesome movie. And if you wonder, like a lot of people sort of, they have an issue with Sean Penn over politics and so forth. Yeah. He is a great, great actor. I mean, he's great in so many different roles. Yeah. Hera, nobody invited you in the studio. Okay? So anyway, that's Hera. I think she probably has been on here before.
Fast Times. Yeah, I thought my favorite movies with Penn were all in the 80s. Bad Boys, Colors, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
After that, tell people about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, man. We can't even get to Goonies because you just mentioned another movie that defined.
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
Another movie I used to watch a lot more back in the day, but Penn, is Jeff Spicoli is all time. It's an all-time character, and probably inspired Michelangelo's character in the Ninja Turtles a little too much there. But that was a wild Mr. Hand. Mr. Hand. I don't know. It's a classic movie.
Yeah.
Just a lot of.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Forrest Whitaker's vehicle getting smashed up, and then they turn out, the Spicoli and the kid's brother, Forrest Whitaker's brother, smash up the car, and they go, "What do we do with this car?" My brother's going to kill us, Spicoli. So they decide to just make it seem like the rival high school did it. And then Forrest Whitaker just goes crazy in that game, that weekend. Oh, it's a classic. And they're just sitting in the crowd. They're just sitting there watching it, see how it's all unfolding. Yeah.
Charles Jefferson. Okay, let's see how many things came out. Let's talk about my thoughts about things. A defining movie in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. First of all, it was a picture of Southern California high school life. And for those of us most of us that are watching this right now, including the three of us that are on screen here, we grew up in the Northeast. We don't know nothing about California except Laverne and Shirley or TV shows we saw. We don't know anything about. And this really was a defining of Southern California high school life issues, pregnancy, love, betrayal, all these kind of, the young guy Ratner, that was in love with the young lady. I can't remember what her name is. But you remember she was Phoebe Cates' friend, that young girl, right? Remember? And then Mike Damone had out by the baseball benches, in the dugout. So there were so many things. The Van shoes. You can go to a gym today. You can go to like Crunch Fitness. You will still see people wearing checkerboard Vans shoes. Girls that are in their teens that have no idea that Jeff Spicoli, this character, defined those Van shoes in like 1982. Like, when I saw those shoes, I had to have them. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things in that movie. Surfing and that whole surfer attitude. Yeah. That movie, it's incomparable. And that it's the way Saturday Night Fever is sort of a timepiece for 1977 in Brooklyn. I think you could say the same thing for Fast Times.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a definitive movie. The robbery scene at the end when Judge Reinhold takes out the robber with the pot of coffee and Spicoli walks in, all right, Hamilton. Spicoli, why don't you get a job?
I forgot about that. Bia, what do you got for Fast Times, girlfriend?
For what?
What do you got for Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Anything?
No.
Okay.
Negative.
My mind is totally blank. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Seems like somebody wants to talk about the Goonies, Mazza.
One of the best movies of all time.
Wow.
Especially in terms of kids, a band of kids getting like, you look at Stranger Things. Goonies is like the one of the defining inspirations for that whole series, and it's all time. It's my cousins, when I used to go over their house, they introduced me to the movie, and we used to watch it every single time we could. And just the adventure of it's like Indiana Jones for kids in a way. Chunk. You got what's his name there as the main kid. Josh Brolin was in that movie when he was younger too.
That's right. He was the muscular kid.
The kid from Rudy was in it too. As I forget his name now. Yeah,
Sean Astin, right?
Sean Astin. Yep, it was in Encino Man. Yeah, it was awesome. And just you got basically Mob Barker. The mom was basically inspired by the real life Mob Barker, who basically was a real life criminal in the 20s.
Yes.
And her two sons, and they got a shootout with cops. Basically, got that vibe going, and it's funny. It's funny. That's a great movie to watch. Corey Feldman, who was like in every 80s movie involving kids, he was in that. License to Drive with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. Everyone talks about The Lost Boys, but I gotta tell you, License to Drive was underrated. It had Heather Graham in it, who was later in Austin Powers too. But the Goonies was classic. License to Drive was a classic too.
There's so many here. People are just, I mean, we're never even going to get to these in the hour, but there's so many good ones. So let me get to what we got. I'm sorry I'm way behind you guys. Welcome, Standing Stones. Maniacal Miss, I believe we caught you, but Jay in Hull, FKR. Mazza. Let's see, Mazza. Oh, I should use Ken's mom's voice. Yeah. Mazza, correction. He says my brother is gonna shit. He's gonna kill us. And he says, make up your mind. Is he gonna shit or is he gonna kill us?
Yeah.
That's Ken's mom.
Yeah.
The legend is here, Suzanne Cleveland. Not to be weird, but I was even turned on by Phoebe Cates' boobs.
Next comment.
Well, next comment, exactly. We had Nurse Kim is attracted to Colleen O'Neill. We found that out the other night. So, yeah, you just never know. Vans and Doc Martens are still the best. There's no question. I have those Vans, and I don't wear like kind of close-toed shoes anymore, but I just can't get rid of them because they're iconic. They will never not be cool, those checkerboard Vans. And I remember my mom, I'm like, Mom, I want these shoes. You couldn't find them, like in Fort Lauderdale where I was going to high school at the time. Let me see. All right, chocolate chunk. All right. So I'm gonna go back to the starred one so we can get into this. So we talked about, okay. I'm not sure if you saw this one. This one really, I think, is about 78, Mazza, but where are you at on this one?
I've seen it one time. It's underrated. It's good, but it's not something I've really seen much. It's probably a movie I need to really go back and watch. Yeah, that's something I'm probably gonna seen it. It was good. I didn't think it was bad at all. It's a pretty intriguing movie, but I'd have to go back. I don't remember it all that well, but I remember like them being on subways and walking around with their vests. I remember they made Rockstar made a video game out of it about 20 years ago. Yeah, but that was it's a pretty good movie. It's a cult film. I think it's a cult film.
It is. Yeah. It is a cult film. I can't remember the actors' names now, Jules or Sherry. If you can get some of those actors that were in there that were absolutely incredible. The guy who played Cyrus, they had an actual gang member in that place where they were supposed to be like in Central Park. And he said, "Can you dig it, suckers? Can you dig it?" Cyrus, they had a gang member to play that, and he didn't show up. And so they had a scrap filming for the day. They came back with that guy, and he read that iconic line. And you can, I mean, Shaq does that, Cyrus. You know, I've heard LeBron do that. Everybody loves that guy who played Cyrus. So it was an amazing film. The Warriors basically were at that, essentially, for those of you who hadn't seen the movie. And I will get to Escape from New York, Standing Stones. Because I know, I don't even have to ask Mazza if he likes Escape from New York, because I know he likes Escape from New York. So we will get to that. Essentially, the Warriors were at this big gang meeting. They had a gang meeting that basically they were going to try to overrun the police. There's more of us than there are the police, so we can take over the city. And Cyrus was the leader. Well, this kind of scumbag sort of gang from Coney Island shot Cyrus and then said, it was the Warriors. The Warriors did it. Then the Warriors were also from Brooklyn. So the whole movie was them trying to get from Manhattan back to Brooklyn with every single gang in the city after them. So that it's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so here we are.
Kurt Russell, his defining role, other than Tombstone, in my opinion, in The Thing, but this is awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah. Awesome movie. This is just the futuristicness of it. It's just the way it's John Carpenter at his best, and it's also John Carpenter's music at its best. Isaac Hayes as the villain, the Duke, and just the way he travels into New York City, and just the way the whole scene's filmed is really eerie. It's like a set, but it's really awesome. It's just that's something I used to watch a lot, especially when I was like in my high school years, college years. I used to watch that movie a lot. Definitely.
Great stuff. It was sort of post-apocalyptic New
was,
York.
yeah.
Bia, did you have anything on Escape from New York, Bia? Snake Plissken? No? We're batting.
Yeah.
We're batting 0. I'm going to have to up her percentage of the 401k after the show. I feel like, okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. So we got the Goonies. I'm scrolling through. Help me out if I missed something here.
Well, I saw They Live listed earlier.
Oh my God, with Roddy Piper.
I kid you not, that's probably my top 10 or top 20 favorite movies ever made. That's a John Carpenter movie as well, and that's about basically aliens. And if anyone remembers the video game Bart versus the Space Mutants, that kind of borrowed from that with the X-ray glasses. So basically, he's a homeless guy, and he wanders into, he's not a grifter, but he's a drifter, right? And he drifts into Los Angeles, and he ends up, trying to find work, can't find it, and everyone's kind of really struggling to find jobs and can't really do it. And they, eventually he stumbles upon X-ray glasses. He can't figure out why the cops are attacking all these people, so he finds it. When he's walking around town with X-ray glasses, he finds out that all these prosperous people are aliens. So he decides to go on a shootout, wanted by the cops. Then him and a bunch of other people band together and battle all the, cops. It's a lot, and they're really aliens. It's wild. It's awesome.
It's a great, yeah.
It's such a popcorn gumball drive-in flick. It's unbelievable. Great movie. At
the height of his fame, too.
Right.
Roddy Piper's fame. This one, Stace wants to know what you think of Ghost.
I've really never seen it. I know about it. I've seen the scene where Patrick Swayze finds out that, or tries to do something and he runs out of his own body, but I've never really seen it. It's something that never really appealed to me too much. Not the sci-fi element, but it's kind of like I used to dodge romance movies.
It's too romantic.
Rather.
Yep. All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise.
I used to watch that quite a bit when I was in high school. And it's an underrated movie. It's okay. I think it's not great. It's average. It's kind of like a staple of it's like Varsity Blues. It's kind of like a movie. It's not great, not bad. A staple of its generation. Tom Cruise.
So, yeah, if I can just add a little bit, the way we just spoke about their Saturday Night Fever maybe defined what it was like to be in Brooklyn at a certain era and Southern California. This was supposed to be kind of like that Pennsylvania, that Pennsylvania coal town kind of football player, that sort of genre of what it might have been like to be a football player in a town like that, where you were expected to, to go off to college and be something big and all that. So, Michael Beck is the lead actor in The Warriors. He was the leader of the gang, but there was another actor in that became quite a bit more famous than Michael Beck. He became the bad guy in a lot of movies.
Commando. The guy was in Commando.
I just don't remember. I could
Warriors
Google it.
Play, yeah.
No, he was the guy who he tried to he found a woman sitting alone in the park, and he sat down, he put his arm around her, and she handcuffed him. It was an undercover cop. I'd have to Google it. But
someone just said Falling Down from the 90s with Michael Douglas. That's a classic. The Whammy Burger incident was an all-time scene.
I think the guy's name is James. James Remar. James Remar. Okay. Deborah Van Valkenburg was in there, and she was obviously in that show with Ted Knight. I can't think of now, where he had the two daughters. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but yeah, I think there's not a lot of famous people. James Remar is probably the most famous person in that movie. But that movie was dope, man. Vision Quest with Matthew Modine. Is that one that you saw? No,
never heard it. Actually, I have heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Before Matthew Modine became the evil doctor in Stranger Things, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Levin's dad. Yeah.
Michael makes this one. Yes, thank you very much, Sherry Dizzle. This was Ajax. That was his name in there, Ajax. It was awesome, man. He was kind of like the sergeant at arms of the band. Let's see what else do we got here. So DJ, I don't know what that. Hopefully, I didn't miss something that you wanted. Standing Stone, 1776. Let me know. The movie that at the end when he's clinging to the beer bottles. Oh yes. Everybody's connecting with that Warriors thing, man. And did Saturday Night Fever do anything for you or no?
The only part of that movie I ever watched was the opening. I actually was watching it a couple weeks ago just to watch that scene because they were playing it during Christmas when he was Santa Claus. Travolta was Santa Claus. I'm like, let me go back and watch that scene again and watch that. But yeah, I never really seen the movie all the way through. I think I've only watched that one scene.
DJ, why don't you say hi to Dixie Normus and the Glarer?
They're here? Where are they? I didn't see.
You're just.
Are they way at the bottom? I'm sorry, I'm way down here. Hey, what's going on, John? How are you, brother? I just thought Mazza hasn't watched any movies. And where's the Glare at? Where's the Glare?
I saw the Glare. He's up there. He was up there. I saw him post up. Yeah, he said, "Why are we talking about Matthew Modine movies?" He makes a great point. Unless, of course, he's talking about Full Metal Jacket, which was another great '80s movie.
Glare, how you doing, bro? You know, Glare, why don't you come on and do Mike Morrissey for us? This must stop.
This needs to stop.
This needs to stop. Because Glare, we can't imitate Morrissey, but we've been working on imitating Morrissey.
My favorite impression he does though is when he does like that Kentucky accent. I do say that I do say that.
If I do say it myself, kind of like Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah,
I can't find him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone said Iron Eagle. This is an embarrassment to all of us that were Air Force, Nancy. That's all I have to say. We can't go any further.
Never really watched that.
And I see instead of just.
So the other night he commented, I was wearing a black shirt and it just looks like
you couldn't.
Kind of like if I'm wearing this shirt right here. I kind of look like a Talking Head, basically. Yeah. Great band from the 80s, by the way, Talking Heads. Yeah.
Oh, man, for real.
Yeah.
Which this is great. There's a girl in the Warriors of Zenith. Yeah, Too Close for Comfort. Thank you so much. It was Sarah, and I can't remember the name of was it Sarah and Jackie? But yeah, Ted Knight, Too Close for Comfort, the two daughters. And Ted Knight is just a legend. He's a legend, man. In Caddyshack, I watched that the other day. That was absolute brilliance, man.
That man is a menace. Great movie. Caddyshack's awesome. Yeah.
Judge Smales.
Ted Knight versus Rodney Dangerfield is one of the most underrated feuds in any movie ever made. The fact that they're just totally complete opposites, and the fact that Ted Knight is so bothered by his presence.
No doubt, man. That was. So, there's the Glare. Here. I like.
So many questions, but no answers.
Oh my God, you guys are hilarious. What else do we got? I wanted to talk music, and if I forgot something,
Can I read off all the 80s movies and 90s movies I listed before we transition? If I can have like 3 or 4 minutes, perfect. All right, so this is my defining list by year of every movie between 80 and 99. A combination of movies I think are the best movies, and my favorite movie. So I'm going to go with 1980, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, The Shining, and Superman 2. I don't care what cut. Either cut's fine. 81, Stripes.
Yes. Yes.
Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. You got it. 82, E.T., Rocky 3, and Rambo and First Blood.
Oh, my God.
1983,
Okay.
War Games with Matthew Broderick. War Games. Bad Boys with Sean Penn. Scarface with Al Pacino. And then Return of the Jedi for 1983. Now, one of my favorite movie years of all time, 1984. I got 4 of them here. Ghostbusters, The Terminator, Beverly Hills Cop, and The Karate Kid. 1985, Back to the Future. Now, 1986, I actually got 5 movies listed here. So 86, Top Gun, Stand By Me. This is a rare one up next.
Yes.
But The Color of Money with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise.
Yes.
The sequel to The Hustler.
Yes.
Martin
The pool
Scorsese
player.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aliens by James Cameron. Beverly Hills Cop 2. All right.
Hey, John.
87. Oh, good.
Oh,
Hey, there
John,
he is.
can you ever have clothes on?
How do you not like Vision Quest? Matthew
I
Modine.
really heard
and,
about Vision Quest. Get this man
oh
off
my-
the show.
How about another one? A Cutting Edge, DB Sweeney. Cutting Edge, DB Sweeney.
Yeah,
I like the Charlestown Chiefs jersey you got in the background there. Is that one of the
So
hands?
hey, the girl that was in the Warriors was one of the sisters from Too Close for Comfort with Monroe, Ted Baxter.
He doesn't know that show, though. He doesn't know that show.
Yeah, so yeah. Oh my God. There's so many great 70s and 80s movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Popeye. The original Popeye with Robin Williams.
Yes, and I can't remember the female's name.
Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall played Olive, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
That was one of my first movies I went to with my aunt. My aunt took me to, and then I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and she's like, "Do you want me to take you?" I go, "No, I can go on my own." I came back out. I forgot where I was sitting, so I kind of just lingered in the aisle because I was too afraid to kind of go up and down looking. And then she came back and got me. But yeah.
I just want to let me break in here for a second.
Yeah.
Because you guys are absolute in the chat. You guys are killing it. We're gonna get to these. We have Red Dawn, Clockwork Orange,
Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn.
Can you stop interrupting me, John? Toy Soldiers, right? You guys remember they took over the school, right?
Yeah.
And then we also can talk about Taps, which is tangential with Timothy Hutton and Tom Cruise. But first,
what was the Clint Eastwood? What was the Clint Eastwood?
Heartbreak Ridge.
Oh,
with Gunny, Heartbreak Ridge.
Heartbreak
Yes.
Ridge.
Yeah. With Mario Van Peebles.
Sweet.
Yes. Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, she already wants 1987 movies. She said.
You mean she wants like the 16 Candles and all that? Whatever that guy that put all those things together there.
Yeah.
Look at this. Ted Knight is credited by that whole cat. Oh, there's no question. Will Ted Knight was amazing. I mean, he was the funniest person in the movie, even though Rodney Dangerfield was supposed to be the comedian. I thought Ted Knight just stole it. But
sometime today.
Danny, you want the scholarship? Don't you, Danny? Yeah. So anyway.
Youngblood. What about Youngblood?
Youngblood.
Rob Lowe
and Patrick Swayze.
Cynthia Gibb, Patrick Swayze. The goalie was
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Yes.
Real hockey player. Yep.
Absolutely. Rakia fucking on the mall. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right, let him finish. He has a list he's trying to get through.
Keep going,
we're
Mazza.
get to everything.
Hey, this is the first time I've ever been on with Mazza. I'm so excited. That's why.
Who's not excited to be on with Mazza?
Hey, John, Sweetie wants you to take a dip.
All right.
John never has clothes on.
I'm in the hot tub.
I don't understand.
I'm sitting out in my shed in the hot tub.
Go ahead.
1987. Here we go. All right, we got Predator.
Please.
One of my favorite movies ever made. Full Metal Jacket. Lethal Weapon. All right. 1988. Die Hard. They Live. RoboCop. 1989. Batman. Glory
Yes.
with Matthew Broderick.
Wait, was that the Michael Keaton Batman?
Yeah, 1989.
Okay, yep, good.
You're good. You're good.
Yep.
You got Glory with Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, and Morgan Freeman. Ghostbusters 2, Back to the Future 2, and Lethal Weapon 2. A lot of sequels that year.
Hey, what was the
90.
one with the kid and the bees? The bees that stung him, and he was gonna die. He kissed the girl.
Oh, My Girl.
Yeah, that one should be on there.
That's a 90s movie. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll wrap up the 90s here. Goodfellas, 1990. Goodfellas, Home Alone, the original Ninja Turtles movie, Back to the Future 3,
Mm.
91, Terminator 2, Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze.
Very
And
good.
I'm going to go with Ninja Turtles 2. It's a little childhood bias showing there, but I'm going with it. 92, Unforgiven, A Few Good Men, Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
93,
Good man. Yeah.
Tombstone, Groundhog Day,
Yep.
and Jurassic Park.
Mm.
Yes.
No.
94, True Lies, Pulp Fiction,
Yes.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and The Mask.
Yep.
1995, Heat.
Yep.
Yes.
Saw
Yes,
that in the
number
movies.
one. Number
Saw that in
one
the
for
movie.
that year.
Yep.
Number one.
Yep.
96, Independence Day, the
Yep.
original Mission
Yes.
Impossible with Tom Cruise,
Yep.
and Scream. 97, Face Off, and Good Will Hunting.
Yes. Good Will Hunting. Oh my God. How you like them apples?
98,
Wow.
Saving Private Ryan. And to close things out, 99 ends with a weak year overall, but two of the greatest movies ever made, in my particular opinion. 99, The Matrix and Fight Club.
Fight Club, yep.
Wow. I didn't see Fight Club, but The Matrix. I did. Yeah, I was kind of Johnny come lately on those. So,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I think did we have a chest hair sighting?
You didn't mention the figure skating movie. You didn't mention that figure skating movie where the girl falls, trips, and goes blind with Bobby Benson. He was in that movie. You don't remember that one?
No.
I don't know that.
Oh my
one.
God! The head coach from that movie was in Slapshot. She was the figure skating coach. She was Paul Newman's wife that was leaving him in the movie in Slapshot.
Yeah.
It was that. Oh my God! It's killing me.
Did you see Slapshot? He might not know Slapshot.
Yeah,
I
he
know
doesn't know.
I know Slapshot. I just referenced the jersey he has, the Charlestown Chiefs
Oh, yeah.
jersey.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that, man.
My
I
father
love
played
that.
against one of the guys. The guy that comes out right after the Indian played against my father down in the Cape Cod League.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ogie,
that's awesome.
after Ogie, Poodles Lucier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ogie Oglethorpe. I love that movie. Is
They're
so
saying ice
classic.
castles. Is that
Ice
it?
Castles. That's the one with
Yes.
Bobby Benson. And then he was in that basketball movie, One on One.
Robbie Benson.
Bobby Benson, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That was
No,
a good one.
you guys rock, man. You guys are.
Yep.
80s movies were the best. Of all those movies he went through, 80s movies were the best. He didn't mention any of the original Godzillas from Creature Feature on Saturday mornings, but that's okay.
Yeah,
know,
those are not
nobody's
like
perfect.
feature length. Yeah, those are more
Yeah.
like
Well,
what
might
we
have
saw
left
on
out a few
TV.
ninja movies too, like Revenge of the Ninja or Into the Ninja 3 or whatever they were.
Or Beverly
Yeah.
Hills Ninja when he goes
Right. Right.
Arashimasen, and then
Right.
anyway.
What was your best Chris Farley movie?
Beverly. Oh. I don't know. I think most people are going to say
Tommy Boy?
Boy, but
Tommy Boy.
I got to go with Beverly Hills Ninja because I just like the fact that he was the leading. I mean, he was the leading role in both movies, but I just like the action and.
All right.
It's close enough.
Steve Martin, yay or nay?
Oh. Yay.
What was your best Steve Martin movie?
The Jerk.
Yeah, okay.
Trains
All right.
and automobiles.
I'd like to put The Jerk.
Yeah.
The Jerk was like revolutionary movie, and Slapshot, like the visuals of that kind of like rainy, Pittsburgh and minor league hockey. You'll never see a movie like that.
The
again.
organ.
You won't see
Yeah.
anything like that. No.
Yeah.
Look at this right here. To Live and Die in L.A. Kind of undervalued film.
Escape
Never
from
seen
LA.
it. Escape from LA I've seen, but never To Live and Die in LA.
It's a good movie, man. To Live
Kurt
and Die
Russell.
in L.A. Bia, I want to get Bia in here. Bia, do you have anything, or have we missed movies, or is there one of the movies that we've said that you're like, that movie's awesome?
No, she's a chick flick person.
I do. Well, depends. Like, I have certain movies that I watch with my husband, and then I have the ones with my friends. So, I mean, my all-time favorite is There's Something About Mary from 1998.
Oh, with Ben Stiller. Yep.
That was. I've watched that movie more than once. It was awesome.
Suzanne is right here. Back to School was a seminal, definitely Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
apex.
a good.
This one I don't know. I know my first name is Steven. It must be about somebody who had amnesia or had been adopted or something.
Summer School with Mark Harmon. That was a good one.
I don't remember what happened in that one. Mark Harmon, I think more of a small screen guy than a big screen guy. Let me see what else we got here. But you're doing pretty good though. Even for being in the hot tub, you're doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Never seen it.
Nope.
And here, how about this one? No chick flicks for Mazza.
I got one. It's a bit long. It was one that I watched with my father, and to this day, if it's on, I will watch. It's Once Upon a Time in the Wild Wild West. It was with Charles Bronson, Peter Fonda.
Yul Brynner was in that, I think. From
no, Yul Brynner was in the Fantastic Seven, Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
No, but it's such a great Charles Bronson movie.
I can give you guys one. Let me see, Pride and Prejudice. Okay, so there's one. I think it's like 1995. Pride and Prejudice. I think it's Colin Firth. Yeah. So Colin Firth sent Jennifer L. We're starring in that one. If you want to talk about a chick flick that DJ likes, because I love British anything. I lived in England. I love England. The Pride and Prejudice is amazing with Colin Firth playing Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy, you have a bit of an attitude, sir.
None of the Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson starred in so many chick flicks with McConaughey, Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Yeah. Fool's Gold, great movie.
Saving
Pitch
Private
Perfect,
Ryan.
great movie.
Top
The
three.
original Pitch Perfect, great. The rest sucked.
Yes. Never
We
seen
got
those.
a lot of Ice Castles here. Did it go straight to VHS?
No, it didn't. Ice Castles was awesome.
What about Lord of the Rings?
Nah. No.
I like Lord of the Rings. I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know like the 77 ones after it, but like maybe the first 3 or 4 I really liked.
War Games.
War
James
Games. Oh,
Cagney
yeah.
movie.
Do you
who's
want
gonna
to play a game? No.
Hey, you dirty rat. I mean, that's all I can do. Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah, no
Roadhouse and
Roadhouse.
Ghost.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, there we go. Roadhouse.
All right, now, John, if you would do your best for us, what's her name? Jennifer Beals. Can you do a flash dance, John?
I can't. Because I really can't stand up right now. I should say.
No, it's a leaning back.
I
mean, we
can't
wanted you
lean
to-
back, okay? Because my waist makes it just above this, and I'm not doing that.
We got to work on your performance art.
Yeah.
So anyway, Joe Dirt. I know. I have a feeling Mazza likes Joe Dirt.
Never seen that movie before.
No?
So I don't watch. I don't watch.
No
movies
who's he
that start
does, no
David
who's he
Spade
don'ts.
And Rob Schneider. No.
So this one right here, midichlorian, my dear. Norm Macdonald for some reason just doesn't strike me as being funny.
I thought it was funny. I thought
yeah.
it was funny.
And we
Any
gotta
Lindsay
say,
Lohan movie. Any Lindsay Lohan movie. Herbie, that was a good movie.
Oh, Lindsay! I remember hearing over in England. Oh, Lindsay Lohan, she's fit. mate."
Georgia Rule, that was a good movie. Yeah. Yeah. Freaky Friday, good movie.
Uh,
Oh my God. I got
All
3 Lindsay Lohan movies right off the top of my head.
one of my favorite Steve Martin movie. I got to say, it's the one I saw he wasn't in. That's
Did you ever see Modern Problems with Chevy Chase?
No.
I haven't.
It's the one where he gets all the powers. They're away at a house, and he starts making everybody do things. Well, you guys never said Beetlejuice. I didn't have Beetlejuice on that list.
No, but he did have Batman the original.
Yeah.
And in 89, right? And that was not only was that to me like he was the best Batman of all of them, Michael Keaton. That's just my personal taste. I'm not,
Same here.
Don't
Same
come
here.
at me. And then the other one was
Who was your best Superman?
Christopher Reeve. Yeah,
Absolutely. There you go.
Christopher
Henry
Reeve.
Cavill's
Yeah.
right behind him, though.
Who was the Superman then? The one with Richard Pryor.
It's, Christopher Reeve.
That was Christopher Reeves. Okay. Good.
Superman 3.
Yep. Yeah.
And Gene Hackman was in one too, wasn't he? Wasn't he?
He was in the first, second, and fourth.
Oh,
He was
Gene
he was in the
Hackman.
third.
Wasn't Bat 51? Wasn't that Gene Hackman?
Don't know.
It was a war movie. He was caught behind enemy lines and Glover. What's his name? Glover was flying the plane.
Bat 21.
Bat 21. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that one. Yep. He
Very
was
good.
forward air controller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. What accent should we do for this? Let me do John F. Kennedy since I haven't done him in a couple of weeks. Hi, DJ, Beatriz, and Mazza, and John. Coming in late from the NK. John, please tell me you're wearing a Speedo or something.
Completely in the buff.
Ask not what a Speedo can do
For you.
John Camo. Ask what John Camo could do for a freaking Speedo.
I can Turk 182 you. Turk 182. Great movie.
Thank you very much, Mary Malaki, for the $5. It's very, very kind of you, love. Let's see, what else do we got? My first name is Steven. This was a miniseries about the abduction of Steve Stainer. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I read about that one, Mazza. Thank you for reminding me of that. He didn't know it took him. I think he had to tell that was when he told the police that he remembered what his first name was because he's kidnapped. And I think he was rescued when he was quite a bit older, and they had eventually kidnapped another kid, and they both were rescued along with Steve Stainer. Thank you for that.
That was the Glare, not Mazza, who said that.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Glare Mazza Glare. Interview with the Vampire.
Never seen it.
Tom Cruise.
All right. It was good.
Shawshank.
That was a
Absolutely.
great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it once or twice, though. It's a little tough to watch.
Animal House.
Oh,
Amazing.
absolutely. Hey, there's one movie I watched once. I will never watch again. But it was an amazing movie, and it was War Horse.
War Horses. Oh,
Yeah.
I know the
The
one.
movie
you're
I
talking
cried
about.
to. I'll never watch it
Yeah.
again.
And I also am not going to watch it.
No.
I grew up with horses. What was the best part of Stand By Me, Mazzo?
The train scene.
Want to see a dead body?
The train scene. Definitely the train scene where they're getting chased by the
trying to
train.
get off the tracks, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Curse yelling. so good. Mazza said, Glare says, Mark Harmon starred in The Deliberate Stranger, which was aired in NBC miniseries about Ted Bundy. Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about Cujo, man. I don't want to even imagine that big ass dog chasing me. Plus, it could make me think of poor Chloe, who's buried somewhere in Western.
I don't do horror
Massachusetts.
movies.
Oh.
No.
Over the Edge. Young Matt Dillon piss a soundtrack. I love that. With Goldie Hawn.
Oh, Goldie Hawn.
Private
what was that
Benjamin.
Overboard one? What was that Overboard one?
Overboard. I don't know this one.
Yeah.
Overboard. I don't know this one. Anybody know
Overboard
that
was
movie?
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got
He
it.
had amnesia.
And, yeah,
Never
he
really
was.
seen it, but I know of it.
Oh,
Nobody
I was thinking
mentioned
of Captain Ron.
Trading Places.
Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea how much fun this was going to be. Oh, and
Because you didn't know I was going to sabotage the show.
I did not. But we love you, so you can
I
sabotage.
know.
Talk about ET real quick, Mazza. Before we get out of here, we got to get out of here because we're 15 minutes over. But what about ET? What did you think was interesting about that movie?
Well, basically how dark and mysterious the movie starts. You don't know what the deal is going to be with this alien. It's actually downright frightening early in the movie, and him and Elliot run into each other. But it's one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, for sure. And I like how they become friends and all that. And the government's after them and trying to find out, how they can kind of apprehend the alien and all that. And then the magical scene where they fly on the bicycles, and the send-off's one of the most powerful scenes ever filmed, really. But no, it's a classic movie. It's I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's one of my favorite movies of the 80s, for sure. I thought it was a great movie. It was something definitely rare. that Stranger Things, like the Goonies, is kind of taken from in the right direction, and tried to. I think he's doing the ET finger there.
Yeah.
Right. The Reese's Pieces, all that stuff that's being basically he's tracking it and everything. So it's a great movie. It's a great movie. A little traumatizing.
Mazza's never going to take my phone call. I'll tell you right now.
It's a little traumatizing at times when ET's like nearly dead, and they got to try to revive him and all that stuff. But there's some awesome parts of that movie. It's a well done movie, and Drew Barrymore was just a little kid in that movie.
Yeah, and I've heard a number of ET encounters, and they're not, that are, ostensibly, as far as I know, in real life, I wasn't there, but they're not quite as sweet and wonderful as that. They're, as Mazza talked about, it's pretty scary.
Right.
Last one. So Blair has something to say about the anatomical John Camo right here. Dick's not enormous. So he's like, wouldn't you like to know?
He's never met me.
Yeah.
I know these two have something in common. So Mazza, how tall are you?
5.
Yeah, he's tall.
And you're how tall?
I'm only 6'1". When I saw him for the first time at court one day, he was in the church. I knew right away. I'm like, oh my God, look how tall that guy is. I go, that's Mazza. Holy crap.
I'll tell you what, this really was a lot of fun, man. We got through this, and we hadn't even gotten into your musical taste yet. So I'm really hoping that you would come back and do another episode where we can get into all kinds of ridiculousness. And that's talking to you, Mark. We're talking about you, Mazza, because we know that John's going to be back.
Yeah, me, I'm.
We just don't know how many clothes he's going to have on, but we know he'll be back. So anyway,
a little bit uncomfortable there, but okay, all right. Put some clothes on, John. It's like, oh, geez.
I got sweatpants right here, but I can't put them on until I get out.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on the show. And
all right, John. We'll see you later, man. That was a bit impromptu, but as I say, Mazza, when you come on Cab, you really never know what's going to happen, and frankly, neither do we.
Yeah.
So, but I hope that wasn't too off-putting, was it? Maybe. No, slightly.
I have no comment on that.
Okay. Well, I apologize. Then I didn't think that. I thought you would think it's funny. To have him on talking movies. So I apologize.
No, it's just that sometimes I get a little bit. I don't want to talk about it on. I'll just say it that way. I get a little uncomfortable. Yeah. So it's just I like John a lot, but just subject matter makes it a little uncomfortable. I don't laugh about it like other people. So sorry.
Well, then let me apologize, because we certainly would know if I would have known that.
No, I love John. I love John to death. He's awesome. But it's like the stuff, the humor. Sometimes I just don't have the mental comedy style for that. That's all. So
yeah. Well, then I, as the host, I'm apologizing to you, because I wouldn't have brought him on if I thought that you would have
John's
been uncomfortable.
Great. No problem at all.
Because he does come on and go wild, but some people are not into that kind of humor. But
It's all good.
But yeah, next time we'll just do the three of us, and only people who are clothed will be on the show.
Yeah, right. Just throw some clothes on, you'll be good. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But I really enjoyed having you, and I hope you'll come back and do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, and Beatrice, awesome talking to you, catching up with you. DJ, thank you as well. And favorite music variates. A lot of 2000s alternative rock, Sherry. That's my answer to that question.
So give us some bands before we get out of here.
Disturbed. Disturbed, Seven Dust, Breaking Benjamin, U2, Coldplay. Not much anymore. I'm not really into them anymore. But Linkin Park.
Yes.
Yep. Linkin Park.
Yes.
Mostly 2000s bands for me. Mostly, yeah. I'm not really a band person. I'm more like a song person. If I like the song, I like the song itself. I don't necessarily like all the band songs, but all that stuff. So yeah, definitely.
I think music is another thing I can go hours on. And you mentioned Linkin Park, and like Mike and I kind of debated this a little bit in terms of how seminal band Linkin Park was, but mixing rap and rock, and I really felt like they hit a sweet spot that I didn't see anyone that hit for me prior to that band. The great vocals of Chester, the rapping ability, the DJ aspect. Then there was a little bit of kind of heavy metal-ish in there. I thought that band was incredible.
Yeah,
I
like rap. I like rap quite a bit too. Dr. Dre, Ice Cube,
love
Snoop Dogg,
Dr. Dre.
Biggie,
Yeah.
Tupac. I used to be a fan of another rapper, but I can't mention him anymore because of all the controversy he's been responsible for. I was a big fan of that guy back in the Will Smith actually too. I was a big fan of Will Smith when I was a teenager. A lot of his soundtracks, Getting Jiggy with It, Miami. Those are some good songs. Men in Black, all that good stuff. Oh, that's for sure. Just a lot of great music. Linkin Park, though, I liked a lot for quite a while, especially in my early 2000s, mid 2000 years, and all that. Materia was a great album. I always forget how to say that properly, but that was good. Eminem I was into for a while. I kind of grew out of him, though. I respect his rapping, but I just think that the subject matter was a little too whiny for my taste over time. I kind of grew out of it. My more teenage rebellious self kind of could enjoy it, but then afterwards I'm like, all right, enough. So those are some of my songs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know that Beatrice likes Jay-Z, and she says, I got 99 problems, but DJ ain't one.
You know it.
Funny.
And thank goodness. Well, thank you very much. You two, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys were amazing tonight. And we found out, you know what? We can do a show where there's almost, no talk about the stress we're dealing with relative to the case and the continuous motions and Judge Bev. And we can talk about some movies and some music and have a damn good time. And I really loved you going through the 80s through the 90s. That was so dope. So I hope you'll come back and see us. Yeah.
You got it. All right. DJ, Beatrice, take care, guys.
Bye.
Free Karen Reed.
You.
All right. Take care.
Yes, free Karen Reed.
Free Karen Reed. Yeah. So everybody at the top of the chat, you should see, it should be pinned at the top of the chat. Do you see it at the top, Bia? Yeah. I can't see it on my side, but
I can't see it on my side.
if you have the bandwidth to donate to Karen Reed, that would be awesome. We would really appreciate it. And we appreciate all of you as well. So,
yes, and don't forget, Just Don's Vigil is this Friday, the 7th at 9:15, 1 Boylston Street, Route 9, Chestnut Hill. We're gonna have there's gonna be some speeches, and she's gonna release some doves. I think it's gonna be really nice to celebrate the 5 years of his passing.
And somebody's gonna be speaking there.
Me.
That's right. The BOGG.
Among a few, I should say.
Yeah, there'll be other people speaking, but Bia will be there. Oh, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. Thank you for offering up PTS Dealer. Thank you, and for offering up some of those movies to talk about. We were slow getting going, and then you guys just, and look who's here, Tim, the author of the Bigfoot Influencers. Welcome, Tim. And so, we were a little slow in getting going, and then you guys just gave so many movies that we couldn't even get to them all, but we'll try to have him back. I didn't realize that, it would be as off-putting. But had we known, we wouldn't have had him on. We would have said, you got to get your damn clothes on. Come on. So maybe we'll do that next time, because we love John, but everybody's sense of humor is different, right, Bia?
Yeah. It's all good. We had a good time. Yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
There you see. So, all right. This is Tim from Bigfoot Influencers. He has written a book about all the best and most well-known Bigfoot investigators, basically, that are in our country, including Massachusetts' own Dave McCullough and others. And it's just really brought to light a serious topic that we think a lot of people think is fake, and I can assure you that it is not. So thank you, Tim, for coming in late, bro, man. And I hope to speak with you soon. We got to give me a call. And Mary says, Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. No doubt, man. That's a classic. That's why they remade it, just like they remade. We didn't even do Point Break. One of my favorites, Bia. We didn't do Point Break. I cannot believe it, mate. Can't believe it. I can't. Can't be asked.
We'll leave something for next time.
We'll leave something for next time, love. All right. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Also, by the way, we're going to be having another listener roundtable. So I'm going to put this in the chat here So it is calling all beings one at gmail.com. So right there. Oh, thank you, Tim. Yeah, thank you for doing a super sticker. Tim Halloran, this book, you can find this on Amazon, written by Tim Halloran. I think he's working on a second book. I don't think it's finished yet, but yeah, man, Bigfoot is a fascinating topic. If you're out there watching right now and you're not familiar with this phenomenon, this creature who roams the woods that is Bigfoot, it is endlessly fascinating, seriously. Right here, I want to put this out there. If you would please email me at callingallbeings1@gmail.com and let me know if you would like to be on the... Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Appreciate it, maniacal miss. Where are you from in the UK, love? So, tell me where you're from in the UK. For me, like Scouse is like one of my favorites. I'd love to be able to do a Cockney, but I haven't worked on that one. Oh, thank you. Look who Beatrice is here. Hey, everybody.
Hey, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. I'm there. I'm everywhere.
Hi. Yeah, hi. She's everywhere. You're everywhere. Who sings that song?
I have no idea, but I heard music and I'm just start dancing.
'Cause you're everything to me. When I close my eyes, right, you make me believe I'm not alone, right? You don't know what kind of craziness we're going to get into. Thanks. She said I nailed it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're going to have to bring me back down. You're going to have to, because she said I nailed it on the Scouse.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God. Maniacal miss. Thank you so much. Namaste. I love you. I'm indebted to you for saying that. I'm not going to be able to get over this because she's from Newcastle. Oh, it's Michelle Bray. I will download that onto my iPhone tonight. Good night, Kimberly McGuire. Good night, love. So, no, we don't. So I think what Julie's like, we don't compliment DJ on these accents because it'll just encourage him to do more.
Right.
So, yeah.
He already has a big enough head.
I'll have you know I'm like a 7 and an 8. Come on.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Christ almighty. Christ. All right. So anyway. All right. That's why you paid me the big box. Michelle Branch, I'm gonna get it. I love that song. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maniacal Miss. I appreciate you. I love the UK. My greatest 3 years of my entire career, maybe one of the greatest 3 years of my entire life, was spent in Suffolk at RAF Mildenhall. And whenever I go back to England, I don't feel like I'm in a foreign country. I feel like I'm at home. I just feel at home. It's a wonderful feeling. There's something about England that I just love, and I don't know that I could put into words. So with that, I won't blubber and babble any further, and I'll release you guys to a more productive evening. So on behalf of my co-collaborator, the associate producer of this joint, the one who helps make this damn thing happen on more levels than you guys know, Bia, this is DJ saying peace out. What do we say after that, Beatrice? One love.
One love.
That's right. And we'll see you down the road somewhere.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Bye.